time I was here, they were selling horses. It's the truth. There was an Arabian horse show here. Wayne Newton's Arabians were there, and the first bid was $1 million. And we found out later that he had bid on his own horse. I don't know. And they made this whole thing look like the end. Did any of you see that? They made the whole thing look like a spaceship. And they had all that carbon dioxide gas going, you know, they smoked, and the horses were rearing, carrying on. And now I follow the horses, which is show business. Well, I have just got off an airplane. I've just gotten out of the limousine. It's been very glamorous, except it's a little harrowing because we had all this luggage that we had to wait for, and you can get tense when people are waiting for it. So there's a lot of anxiety. And there was a lot of anxiety last night because we were filming Star Trek 6 on the and we were supposed to finish at 7:30 in the evening, and the lights had gone out. We were filming at an Orthodox Jewish retreat. Why do you find that funny? That we should shoot Star Trek 6 at Brandeis. It wasn't university, but the Brandeis Retreat in Simi Valley in California. Apparently, they had put this building up 10 years ago, and it had all kinds of modern things, wheels with glass. And they have people in California that are location managers. That's all they do. They look for strange places. And when a director says, I want something interesting, they bring out pictures. And they say, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? So somebody must have brought out the pictures here. This Orthodox retreat where people go and meditate and get close to God. So we went there. Did we meet God? First of all, she's, well, how's it going? So last night it was there were about as many people, no, a few less, but quite a few people as extras, and they had been there since 1:30 the previous morning, and they had been there. Now, that was Friday. So Friday morning at 1:30 in the morning, these people had arrived to get into makeup. Because the scene, and I can't say too much about the scene, obviously, because otherwise you won't pay the money to witness the movie, which is obviously a major desire of the Paramount Studio. So there was a scene that involved the Klingons and the Romulans. Somebody said here, yes, Romulan, and those blue people. The what? The Andorians. The Andorians. The Andorians. So there were, and then there were the Earth people. So there were four different types of people. And at one point, late in the evening, they were shooting over my shoulder because I was saying something to the world again. Like, I'm going to save you once again, folks. So they were shooting over my shoulder, and I suddenly had an idea. I went over to Nick Meyer, who was writing and directing this film. I said, "Thank you. Give me the camera. Just give me. I had an idea, a publicity idea. So give me the camera just for a second." He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Don't even ask. Don't even ask. Just give me. He said, "I got it." It's 11 o'clock. No. I said, "Please give me. Nick, you got it. Nick, you have to." It's over. I overwhelmed him. I said to the cameraman, They got one to zoom. I said, now I'm going to do something. You just follow me, zoom in on me, and then zoom back, and then when I go out to the audience, you zoom into those weird makeups. Yes, what are you going to do? I borrowed a pair of sunglasses from some action camera. I put on the sunglasses. I faced the camera. I said, Arsenio Hall, this is what your show will look like in 300 years. Welcome to the Arsenio Hell Show. And the camera zoomed into the Klingons and the Andorians and the Vulcans and the... That's what the Klingons communicate. And then I turned back to the camera and did something about Arsenio Hall. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to show it to Arsenio Hall in London. And we'll put an appearance because I'm publicizing a book that I've got coming out today. So I'm giving up publicity not only for the 25th anniversary of the picture that will come out at Christmas time, but this book that's out now, which is called Tech Lords, sequel to Tech War. So, that was really fun. People out. We did the Arsenio Hell Show 300 years from now, and all these weird people. It was fun. I get a kick out of champagne. It's Las Vegas, I forgot. I wish I had those comebacks that Tom. I'll take care of those. So I get a kick out of making, of doing fun, amusing things. At least they're amusing to me. The people that you do them to don't always think they're amusing. I mean, but I've spent my life alienating people, so why not continue along with that? I've been working for several weeks with the Force Camp. I'm very conscious that this picture has been written as the last of the Star Trek series. That's what the Force said. I quieted him down, I petted his cheek. The skin's a little leathery because he's getting old. The guy's getting old. Well, I've spent the last 4 or 5 weeks with DeForest because the script called for Dr. McCoy and Captain Kirk to be separated from the rest of the group and go off on this adventure while the others are doing something else. I can't tell you what it is. They're doing something else, and we're doing something else. So the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've spent a great deal of time with DeForest. I mean, I've always loved DeForest, but I really fell in love with him this time. Maybe because I was extracting each moment, being very sensitive to each moment of the experience. And I wanted to play one last joke that I'm divorced, I guess. So, as we got to know each other again and more intimately, I began to realize that Dee had the same fear I had. We can't remember things. I mean, either the brain is overloaded or Alzheimer's is setting in. I mean, or too much aluminum or something. You know, he said, the mind begins to go, and you can't. So, you know, an actor who forgets, forgetting lines. Right? What could be worse? Those are the words, the very material that an actor works with. The words. Forgetting the words. Deep, dark secrets. You don't admit it's fears. Well, we were talking. He said, yeah. You know, I think it runs in my family. My uncle talked to me when I was a kid. I remember my uncle saying, Big boy, I'm 84 years old, is what he was doing. I'm 84 years old, baby. Just married, young girl, 25. It's terrible, dude. Day after day, all she wants is love, the morning and the night. It's awful, it's awful. He said, well, why? He said, because I can't remember where I live. So he had this in his background. He was afraid of not remembering his own name. What's my name? What's my name? So he's standing one morning in front of a table upon which it's called the craft service table. And we lay out food. The craft service guy lays out food. I eat celery sticks. Want to make sure. I hear everything. The mind's going, I hear it. A little ringing in the ears, but that's okay. I can answer anything. So there's the food, the coffee, and tea, and over here, the muffins, and the English muffins, and Dee, as he gets older, loves as a routine, as old people do. He eats the same thing at the same hour every morning. And he was telling me, he goes to the bathroom at the same time. I always have it. He was saying, I really like these English muffins with raisins. I really like that. I like that in the morning. What do you do? I get my celery sticks and my carrot sticks. So now I really like the English muffin with the raisins in it. I really like that. I saw him split one of these English muffins with the raisins in and put them in a toaster. Press the toaster down. Kind of waiting over the, you know, people wait for something good. He's waiting for the toaster to pop. He's waiting. I see the makeup guy. And we both was Brian, man, it's squatting. I said, Brian, come here. I'm standing up there. Brian, come here. It's distracting. So Brian goes up to Dee, turn your head here. I said, what? Why do you turn his head? I ran over. The toaster. I took the English muffin, the muffins with raisins. I pressed the toaster down and I went back. I just hit my tooth on this microphone. I was lost at camp. So I ran over there, and then I nodded to Brian, and Brian let Dee go, and now Dee is waiting over the toaster. And finally, up it pops. Pops. There's nothing there. The same. So he walked over to the muffin place, and there in the cellophane was one more muffin left. A little angry. Put it back. Press the toaster down. Brian's distracted. Dee, come over here. Let me see what you guys are usually. Yeah, what's happening? See, now I'm over here and I'm waiting to see his reaction. And I'm dying. There's no place to hide the muffins. So I'm shoving them in my house. And he's standing over the muffin thing waiting for the big thing pops up, and there's nothing there. And now he's really agitated. And he looks over at me and says, you did that, didn't you? And I'm choking on the muffin. And now I'm really choking. He says, you don't think that. Don't think that choking. I know you're not thinking. Call 911. He swore he'd get back at me, and I'm living in terror because I don't know what that old mind of his will think of next. So I've gotten to become even more friendly with, love these guys, and more than I do. Nick Meyer is written and directed Star Trek 6. It's very bright, very funny. Very funny, very good, very talented. He's very everything except tall. Well, actually, he's very short, that's what he is. He's a very short guy. Kind of like bounces on it. Apparently, he's a very good tennis player. Now, I don't know why a lot of little guys have to have something that, how can I put this politely, gives them more of an essence of their humanity. They need something like a cigar. So he smokes a cigar. That's what Nick smokes a cigar. He needs one in the morning, he needs one lunch, and he needs one at night, which is most of the day, right? Because he has a long cigar. I'm a nut on the smoking around me because, first of all, I gave it up a long time ago. But secondly, I know what it is. I can't believe anybody would smoke anymore. Now I know what it is. And more than that, if they want to kill themselves, let them, but they're killing me with their second-degree smoke. There's only so much you can say to a director on a film that's cost $30 million. I mean, how rude can you be, you know? I mean, you can say, oh, Nick, do you need to smoke that? You do what? You say, well, I need to smoke it. And then in the morning and the afternoon. Why? Does it bother you? Oh, God, Nick, it does. It smells. It stinks. I was on Broadway many years ago in a long-run play. And I don't know why I did this, but I started to smoke cigars for a while. Shortly after that, the leading lady stopped speaking to me. And it was only years later that she told me. I said, what happened? She said, you smelled of cigar. You had to kiss me. I couldn't stand it. Well, I only realized what she meant when I was Nick. Nick says, I think you should move over. Oh, Nick. So, I went to the special effects people. You see the kind of mind that is standing in front of you. I said, invent me something that smells awful. They said, well, what? I mean, we got rid of this. It's a $30 million picture. We had to do all this. I said, you know, Nick and his cigar, I hate it. They said, Nick and his cigar, we'll do it right away. So 2 days later, they came up with a little tiny bottle. Sulfur dioxide is as close as I can come. The worst, but powerful, not just sulfur dioxide, beyond sulfur. SO3. So he comes up to me. And he smoked. I take my little one. And I said, Nick, I don't quite understand this scene. And he's going, what? Oh, what was that smell? I said, just my little bottle. He said, what are you doing? I said, I need my little bottle in the morning, lunch, and one more cigar. There's no more cigar? Well, that's the kind of thing that's happening on Star Trek 6. So you can see it's going to be a great motion picture. Okay. Let me now ask ask me questions, and then I'll use your question and just ramble on about what the answer should be. Wait a minute. Now, I've got a real dilemma. Here's my dilemma. You have just raised your voice, okay? I mean, that's your prerogative. But if I reward you by answering you, then there'll be screams from all over. So I have to ignore you. That's my dilemma. Somebody over here.
Spock gets married.
Spock gets married. Spock gets married in Star Trek 6? Is that what you said?
Does he?
Does he? Does he? Now what's your question? 15 years ago, I spoke at the Star Trek convention 15 years ago at Michigan State University. I forgot what it says. When I turned up the lights, the person I looked at was you. You raised your hand. And this jerk of a boyfriend pulled your hand. I see you've changed your tune. And the very next girl took the question out of your mouth. Could I give you a kiss? Just this once. Because everybody else would want it. And you've been telling the story for the last 15 years at this length? Have you been invited to many parties back? Could I give you a kiss 15 years later? Come on. How old are you? You're 15. You're still in school. But you know how to kiss in Michigan. What? Wait a minute, I told you so we get unruly, didn't I? Okay, behind you. 15 years ago. Oh, thanks, I can use all the help I can. I draw a line sometimes. And that isn't where I draw the line. Sorry, say again. Do I enjoy reading science fiction? Yeah. I sort of got into reading science fiction before Star Trek. And I had the great authors were my favorite, the Asimovs and the Sturges. And then one of the great thrills of doing the series was I got to meet these people, these great writers. I got to meet them and became very friendly with the Sturges. He's dead. But his works live on. And then I dropped off. I don't know why. I went on to other kinds of fiction. But I enjoyed it a great deal. Yes. Yeah. Well, I was about the same age. Your best friend, you're both alone. You were at writers, and you wrote a script. That's where I draw the line. You killed what? You killed your best friend for me. Has justice, the wheels of justice turned? I see. You've changed. All right, well, I'm glad you're happy. Way in the back there, yes. You, yes, the red hair. with signing autographs is twofold as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand the whole syndrome of signing autographs, except I guess it's your name and you take that part of that person you like with back with you. I think maybe with that said, I understand. The other part of it is you can't just sign autographs. So if you sign 10 or 20 or 100, you leave all the other people, usually more than 100 you sign, frustrated and enraged. So I just don't sign autographs. And that's why I'd rather spend the time talking to you rather than what? Yeah, you're fine.
Has Gene Roddenberry ever done one of those Hitchcock things where he's gotten into an episode anywhere?
Has Gene appeared in an episode?
Yeah, and does he have an official position in Starfleet?
I don't want to ruin your life. Starfleet's fiction. That's it. I'm lost. I'm running now. We'll find me at McCarran Airport. Thanks a lot. Gene, to the best of my knowledge, has not appeared on anything. And as his official position, I don't think so. No, we haven't gone that far. But in the spirit of taking somebody's worst fears and making fun or having fun or playing a game, Gene has a very strict idea in his mind as to the hierarchy of the way this whole Federation thing works. And did anybody read the 50-minute hour many years ago? A psychiatrist wrote about 4 cases, one of which a psychotic person came to the psychiatrist and this invented world that he had was so real that in these sessions, the psychiatrist became involved in the world. He almost stepped into this fantasy world that this person who had come to him for help was laying out. Gene has this fantasy world that's very real to him, and he has to communicate it to all these people. So he has a very vivid idea of what's happening, and he also knows exactly where everything is on the ship, which is, for us, a series of sets. I mean, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but we don't take off on that ship. So, one day, no, you've got to believe me. So one day, Leonard and I started in our car. No, Leonard, that's not where the guns are placed. The guns are placed on B deck in the third room. No, Bill. It's on the 2nd deck in the 7th room. Listen, Leonard, I know the ship better than you because I am the king. Here's Gene now. Gene, where are the guns stored? The guns are stored, the guns are stored in the, but Gene, where? And everybody's waiting for us, and Leonard and I, well, it blew his mind. I mean, he's never recovered, and rarely talks to us. I didn't say anything to Leonard, actually. A joke. Leonard was very competitive. Very competitive. I mean, during the series, he had to be first in line at the commissary for the meeting. I mean, they call lunch, and he'd run down the driveway between the stages. Run! Turn left at the gate, and run into the commissary and have his tray be there. We all, of course, would be running after him. But he'd get there first. I sometimes beat him. So he bought a bike. had this bike outside the stage door. Everybody would lunch. Everybody would run. Get on his bike. So I bought a chain of along. I locked this bike to a stone chute. They yelled lunch. He ran out, and I ran past him because he was trying. So he got some gold cutters. Got the chain. I still do breed Dobos. I love Dobo dogs. I've been to dog shows here. Matter of fact. Dobies are a much maligned animal. You know, people think that they'll bite them. They get territorial. Well, they are. They're territorial in an enclosed space. Somebody once told me the best way to stop charging Dobo is as they're in midair, coming at you, leaping for your throat, reach in and grab them by the tongue. So there are ways of stopping Dobos. And I used to bring my Dobo with me to the theater, to the studio, and keep him in my dressing room. So when Leonard bought his bolt cutters, the next morning, I took his bike and I put it in my dressing room. So when everybody ran past Leonard with his bike, he said, "Where's my bike?" I said, "Leonard, I put it in my dressing room to keep it from being stolen and for people who ever locking it for preventing it from doing that." He said, "Thanks, bro, thanks." And he ran into my dressing room, and my dog attacked him. This guy isn't funny, you know. Later, after I'd eaten my meal, it isn't funny. A Doberman attacking me, you think it's funny. It's not funny. It's my bike, and that's my bike, and I'm riding my bike. It's not funny. So the next day, I had a stagehand fly the bike up into the ceiling where all the ceiling goes. Lunch! We all ran out. Leonard can't find his bike. Grab the whole race. I know you got my bike. Where's my bike? And I'm not going to the dressing room again. Where's my bike? I put my arm around her and said, "Leonard, raise your eyes to the stars." What? Did I like doing the humorous episodes or the more serious episodes? Well, being as contrary as I've given you an example, I think the best thing to do is to be humorous in the serious ones. Be serious in humorous ones. Then you can be very serious in serious parts, but humorous in the humorous parts. If you try to be humorous, I'm trying to be funny, I'm not. There is a way of leavening a very serious moment with the natural humor of any. My father died some years ago, and my dad had worked very hard for his livelihood all his life. He appreciated the value of the dollar, and he taught me the value of the dollar. So when he died, and when I had to go pick the coffin, I almost heard his voice saying, "Never mind the lead line stuff and the golden plate stuff. Get a nice plain box. Put me in it." So I did. Beautiful, simple coffin. I'm sitting now in the chapel, reading, doing ceremonial with my father. And I turned to my sister and said, "Dad, was it like that coffin? It's got a very reason." My sister said, "Why? Is it used?" She didn't mean to be funny in this terrible tragedy in our life. Well, I started to laugh. And my mother was you know, around to all the people in the family. And all these people from Montreal they're all solemn because beloved member of the community and stuff. And the immediate family is between tears and laughter. I've always remembered, thought, that's the way it should be. There's always that balance between laughter and tears and everything. So I try to do it as much as I can. Do I remember the first time Leonard Nimoy and I first acted together? I don't remember, but such a comes as a surprise to you. That's a whole lot still in life. The Man from Uncle. I've heard of The Man from Uncle, but I don't remember.
I was just wondering if you remembered that.
No.
Did you think you two would work together and become friends?
No. That much I remember. I have no idea that 25 years later, I'd be, he's a great guy. No, I mean, we're necessarily. He's a wonderful, intelligent, humorous guy. I've known him for 25 years. It's a long time to know something. So he's a very, very good man. We're always plotting something. Fight the battles. Yes, blonde lady. Have I ever been hurt? How come everybody else can hear you? Have I ever been? Playgirl. Have I ever been in Playgirl? Well, the equipment is there. No, I think I draw the line there, too. Yes, Man in Dark Glasses. No, it's The Shadows. Yes. How did it feel to get back on the set that way? Really wonderful. Just to be working again was really wonderful. What I'm telling you is that the script has been written, and you will see it Christmas time, to be the last film. And something happens at the end that I think will bring tears to your eyes because it did me just reading it. So I'm very aware that each moment is to be savored with these people. Because I would in all likelihood not work with them. And it's just, so I'm sad. It's sad, that sweet sadness that we have something that's coming to a close. Yes, great. Sweat. A man with book. Oh, a man with my book. Where did you get it? Is it on sale?
I got it at
At B-Ball?
Tell us about Tech
Tech Lords. I brought some signed copies of Tech Lords with me. Tech Wars. Tech War. I was in the middle of trying to create Star Trek V. And things were not going well. There was a strike that lasted 7 months, which scattered everybody's schedule, and almost a year went by without... Is that a bird? Oh, it's a baby. Okay. It's been so long. Well, if I stay too long on this, I'm going to forget what I was talking about. What was I? So, 8, 9 months went by, and nothing was happening, and so I had an idea since doing T.J. Hooker that if I put a cop in the future, and I had many talks with futurists about what things are going to look like. And so I put a cop in the future, and I started playing around with a story. Tech being the drug of the future, which is computer-driven television that you get locked into, and it replaces the drug that we know of today. It's kind of a computer drug. And did a whole drug lord, drug chase kind of thing. And wrote it and submitted it. And lo and behold, Putnam accepted it, published it. I worked very closely with a guy by the name of Rom. And they published it. And I think, oh gosh, boy, we're going to get killed if the notices were good. The book became, on some lists, a bestseller. It was totally astonishing to everybody concerned. So the Putnam said, would you write a second book? So I wrote a second book. And they said, well, while you're writing that, write a third book. So the second book, Tech Lords, is out today. There's a big ad in the New York Times. The third book I'm working on right now, it's almost finished, will be out later on. Marvel Comics has picked up, they're calling it graphic novelization, so I'm not quite sure what they're negotiating, whether it's for a cartoon character or whether it's one graphic novelization of this, one cartoon version of the book. But that's what Marvel Comics are going to do, a comic book on Jake Cardigan and his adventures. The whole thing's kind of snowballed out of nothing. I don't understand it. So there's 3 novels of that. In addition to that, a friend of mine who I met on Voice of the Planet, something I did, 10 hours of television, some of you might have seen it on the entire, the guy who invented the whole idea, who was a genius really, his name is Michael Tobias. Michael Tobias and I collaborated on a novel involving Harry Houdini and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who were the leading exponents both for and against spiritualism in the 1920s. And I set them in motion in a competition about whether whoever could prove who spoke to the great beyond, prove it to a scientific community, would get X number of dollars. This was a result of a publisher who wanted to increase circulation of the magazine. These 2 enormous characters come into conflict in a novel that also is going to be published probably in June of next year. So I have 4 novels in various years. So that's kind of strategy. So the idea of writing and inventing, much like I'm doing right here, right now, is the way Tech War began. Just kind of sketching out ideas and stuff. Yes?
Tech ever became a movie to start?
Would Tech ever became a movie? I originally wrote it as a straight-line story for a movie. It has a movie feel to it. Scenes follow linearly. And I would love to play it and direct. That would be the fantasy. The fantasy is to come up with an idea that people like, have a screenplay written or help write it or write it, and take it onto the screen. The greatest thrill that I have ever had was sitting in a film theater of about 1,500 people on the opening day of Star Trek V and watching the people watch the screen, the bounce light off the screen, lighting the side of their face that I could see. They were looking like it. It reminded me of primitive man looking into the fire and the light bouncing off their faces. So these people were looking up at the screen in some kind of thrall of what I had invented and put on the screen. It was the greatest thrill you can imagine. What kind of a thrill it must have been. Yes. DJ Hooker. Yes. Yes. Well, no, wasn't, a leading character in a work of fiction. Joseph Campbell wrote a treatise, a novel, a study on a hero with 1,000 faces was name of one of his books, which had as its theme that all heroes are basically the same. They carry the same burden with them to make them heroes. So that T.J. Hooker and Captain Kirk and all those people who are fighting the battle, the antagonist and the protagonist, had with them the similar things. The only thing I could try to do to make them different was I always thought of Captain Kirk as Alexander the Great, who was noble, had nobility, and T.J. Hooker was angry. And coming from that source, I would attack the scene with more anger as T.J. Hooker as against somebody who was trying his best to do good as Captain Kirk. Behind, yes, right back. Next Generation has kind of mentioned from time to time, and I think it's a bad idea, and I just don't see how it would work. So I kind of, yes.
How do you feel about the Next Generation?
How do I feel about the Next Generation? I think it's a wonderful show. Somehow in the back of my secret mind of mine, I don't think it's as good as the original. I'm obviously prejudiced, but it's a wonderful show, and I like it very much. Yes, sir. Yes, I finished the audio tape on the second thing. Thank you. It's a kick to be doing your own words on you can imagine what it's like, yes.
We have enjoyed watching.
Are you putting me on, or is that your accent?
We have enjoyed watching original Star Trek back home in Yugoslavia.
In Yugoslavia? That was a Swedish accent.
And my question is, did you ever go outside, the United States to promote Star Trek, or have you ever met?
Have I ever promoted Star Trek outside the United States? And I'll take that to mean, yes?
By the way, I think Star Trek has just been released in
Serbia, Croatia? In Serbia or Croatia? Which? It's both. I know they're fighting right now. Over the series, I understand. The most remote, I several years ago, I used to do a program here in the United States, on occasion I would do, called American Sportsman. And I love to do it. In the beginning, when I was doing it, hunting was still considered something to be done. And I am totally against hunting animals now, but at the time. So I went on a venture with American Sportsmen to Iran to photograph a black leopard at night. You know where the Caspian Sea is? Between, on the border of, and this was when the Shah was still there, was still safe, in some manner still safe there. On the border between Russia and Iran by the Caspian Sea, there's a border that's man-made, but the people pass back and forth as they have for centuries. It's old, and it's ancient. Not many people go there. Yes. It's really deserted. And that which is there is so prehistoric that the people are peasants who walk the burden of life. The donkeys, there's nothing there except Black Panthers at night. There were 3 men in the film crew. So there were 5 or 6 of us. And we wandered in our Jeep, whatever it was, into a village of about 500 people. And this deserted place. We walked into the only restaurant in town. It really wasn't a restaurant. It was a shed where they broiled some chicken. Shish kebab. Yes, they have one. Sat there. Chicken. Chicken. On time, things stand good. Don't wait a second. Wasn't really a waiter, was a guy. Dressed up. He was talking whatever it was. Trying to look around, trying to way in the back. There was a small black and white television set with random lights. It's playing Star Trek. And I'm seated having some chicken. And this guy's going, so if you think Serbo-Croatian is strange language, you should hear it in whatever this man is talking. You're the rep. Okay. 10 years. Oh, you mean the first movie? Well, we all thought that it was going to be. See, Star Wars had hit. And I think the people at Paramount thought, wow, if Star Wars could make $700 million, we got Star Trek, we'll make it bigger, we'll make more money. And the head of the studio called me in one day. And he said, sit down, I have lunch with you. I sat down, I had lunch. He said, look, I want to ask you a question. What's Star Trek all about? The guy was putting in all these millions of dollars, he didn't know what Star Trek was. And I didn't know what Star Trek was all about. We'd made the series, different people had written the series. I mean, there was a different writer almost all the time. And they were adding their fuel to the fire that was whatever the combination was. And then the story editor would rewrite that, and then we'd all get to play it. And something happened in those 3 years that made it still alive. I mean, I don't know. I'm here today. I don't know why. You come today. I don't know why. I'm here. I'm just talking away. I don't know why. So I said to the guy in the show, I don't know. I have no idea what the strike, but maybe, I don't know, the cast of characters, or maybe it's the stories, it's science fiction, I don't know. He said, well, okay, thanks. So we get on the set, and we're making a big motion picture. Big. It was so big it wasn't Star Trek. And we were all doing Star Wars, I guess. So Star Trek 1 was like a learning experience. And we thought we were making a big motion picture. It was then that in Star Trek, when we had another chance, that we realized we go back to the characters and the love and the humor and all that. So the first movie, I don't know what we were doing. But it was only after the movies began that we began saying, what did we do? What was it that made Star Trek? We began to try and find more and more of what we had done 10 years before. But in that first film, we didn't know what we were trying to do Star Wars. Because we're to the best of our ability. Yeah.
First I want to say I admire you very much.
Thank you.
And I love being here. But my question is, how do you get so dramatic?
How do I get so dramatic? What do you mean? I'd like to be a comic and stand here and talk to you, but maybe you won't listen to me for an hour. So. Besides which, I get carried away. Yeah. And at home, you see. Come here, boy, come here. You know, I call the dog. Come on, dog, come on. I don't know. That's me, I guess. Yes.
What are your plans after Star Trek?
What are my plans after Star Trek? What do you do? I don't know.
You're going to continue writing?
Continue writing? Yes, I would continue writing. What I love to do most of all is to direct films. And what I would love to do is to continue to write anything. Just as long as I can tell a story and make it as dramatic as possible. Yes. Okay. Are you two together? Okay, is he going to ask your question? Why don't you ask his question? I love that. You hugged him, and then you said, we want to know. You two must be together. That's great. I'll tell you what, you got two questions? Same question. Okay. What was my favorite episode? Do I have a favorite episode? Do I remember that? That's a valid comment because the actual fact is I don't. The fact of the matter is, and I find this so common and so ordinary that you may find that it strikes me not bizarre at all, but it may you. That I can look, if I'm flipping through the channels and I see Star Trek, I not only don't really know that that's me, I have no idea what the plot is. And even if I've seen it like 10 years ago, I don't remember what it's about even now. I mean, I can sit down and watch Star Trek and be absolutely, I wonder what's going to happen next. I remember the Star Treks by the girls. There were other aspects to it, and that is, doing a series is very, very tough work. You come in about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, depending where you are, and you stay until the day's work is finished, because you have to finish the episodes in whatever the appointed time is. In this case, it was 6 days. We had to finish them in 6 days. Otherwise, we wouldn't make our air date. Here's our important one. Otherwise, you don't make your air date, the network won't get the film in time. And if the network doesn't get the film in time, it's a breach of contract by the studio, and the studio won't get paid for the series that they've already paid the money on. Okay? It's like when they hand in the negative, they get the check. Okay? And if they don't play it on the appointed time, they're not going to get the check. That's how important it is. So you have to finish it in 6 days, within a certain length of time. The film is, post-production is there, the music played in, and all that stuff. So you work at a frenetic pace. So much so that towards the end of the season, when all the stories have been used up and people are striving to write the script and get the words out, you frequently don't get the script. You get scenes. Well, okay, what's this? New show. Okay, well, what's the story? Well, the story is you go when you're down and you fly and you get to the warp time and you get the first scene. We don't get the first scene, but here's the third scene. Okay, walk you the third scene. Got the third scene. Oh, give me back the pages. What the third? Change the page 3 to page 4. Instead, change the line to 75. Okay, ready, shoot. Yeah, here's the next page. It's crazy. So when you get a whole script, it's like interesting. So I get these scripts, and I wonder, how am I going to do this? And not only that, you don't have any time to prepare because you walk in, they're slapping the makeup on you, and you're literally getting out of the makeup chair, in front of the camera, okay, we're rolling. And you've got to, so I'm reading the script, and it says, woman enters his body. without looking a little strange. Don't want to cross that line there. So, the things I remember the best and the most are those difficult actors' choices. They weren't even really choices. I just make a stab at the dark and hope it would work. So, those favorite episodes were those leaps into the off the diving board hoping there was water in the pool kind of script.
I have a couple questions for you.
A couple of questions.
Being from Canada, do you ever miss it?
Being from Canada, do I ever miss it?
Also, in Star Trek 6,
Star Trek 6.
part, does the Enterprise break any speed records? Or,
Does the Enterprise break in the speed record?
and third question is,
Third question.
you made reference to Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio
Are you
Hall.
going to be on the show?
Am I going to be on the show? I'll have to work backwards.
Okay.
Arsenio Hall. No, I don't know. I'm going to go to Bill and say, hey, look what I got. I want to be on the show. And I've been on the show many times, so I don't really think about it. So the next few weeks, I will go. Do I miss Cameron? When I was a kid, the snowbanks were higher than I could stand. We used to burrow in the snowbanks that were, the snow was pushed to the sidewalks and the sidewalks were cleared. There'd be this pile of snow. And the kids would, sometimes kids died because we had all these burrows inside the snowbanks that would last all year long. It was awfully cold. Spring came around May. Winter came around September. June, July, August. 3 months. Some warmth. And it was cold. I live in Los Angeles now. So I don't miss that. But I miss the cleanliness of Toronto, the French of Montreal. It's a different area, but I love where I am. Now, that's 2 out of 3 or something. What was the third one? Does the Enterprise break? The reason I couldn't remember that is that's a dumb question. Well, we raised the speed to warp 17. Okay? We're going to go warp 17. We want to go warp 15, so we're going to do 2 warps more. Oh boy, that's really no, the Enterprise is getting old. As a science fiction fan. Technology. I'll take that more seriously now. No. Your question is, when you put it in that context, your question is valid in fact. I have no choice in that. Go ahead. Go ahead. But you got to stand up. I'm sorry, thank you. The question you had is what?
Did you ever do any radio drama?
Yes.
Because I remember hearing a radio drama, back in '83, I think it was.
Yeah, 83.
It was on.
I've done a lot of radio drama in Canada, and I've done some here, yes. I enjoy radio.
Do you remember any of the ones that you did?
I can't remember the Star Trek plots. I did a lot of Norman Corwin radio scripts. If you read some radio, he was the premier writer of radio, Norman Corwin. Does that answer your question?
Well, there was one I heard back.
One you heard back in '83 that had something to do with the ferry, Norman Corwin. Norman Corwin called something. I don't remember exactly. But Norman Corwin wrote that story about the ferry. And there was a radio, it was a stage play, and then it became a radio. You're absolutely right. Now. Man, what's going on? What are you going to say to that? What possible thing you could be doing behind that smiling face, those broad shoulders, the hand cups the chin, smiling slowly, secrets between us passing by. What are you going to say? You're going to ask me a scientific question. We're in public. We're among friends. We're all bound together by a common force of interest. We're together in this. We know each other. We're together now almost an hour. What is it you want to say? Am I being too dramatic? I'm done. I'm done. Thank you. You're studying to be an aeronautical engineer, really? Here in Las Vegas? At UNLV? Can you explain how that ball was in the loop so many times? Let me repeat this so everybody hears. Is our technology advanced? You're asking. If our technology was advanced, would I William Shatner go where no actor has gone before? Okay, go.
Well, I was wondering if our technology is advanced enough that you were afforded the opportunity to go out and explore worlds. What would you say to the first beings that we would meet? What would your message to them be about us?
What would I say to the first beings that I met if our technology was sufficient to propel me into their world? He has a suggestion, let's party, dude, but I don't. This is the hydrogen atom, the common denominator. Helium is an atom. Well, the reason I hate these moments is everything you say sounds so pompous. Racing through my mind is a number of things, both practical and fantastic. For example, the fact that something else is out there means that life permeates the universe, solves that mystery. That's already a great headline. The fact that we're in such dire trouble on Earth that we're killing our planet. Maybe there's help. And I guess the first thing I would say would be help. The community sewage. But since that's not going to happen, the best thing is that we help ourselves and change in major ways the way we live so that we can continue to live and hear the sound of babies' voices for a long time to come. Thank you very much.